Welcome to Big Bold Moves Abundant Life, the podcast where we explore courageous decisions that shape extraordinary lives. I'm your host, Lisa Marie Hintze, and today I am joined by Gayle Williams, founder of Wellness Growth Marketing. Gayle has spent nearly 2 decades in marketing and communications, and like many entrepreneurs today, she found herself standing at a crossroads as technology rapidly evolved. Instead of resisting that change, Gayle made a big, bold move, redefining her business through the power of AI and helping wellness practices grow, connect with patients, and thrive in a new digital world. Her story is one of reinvention, resilience, and recognizing opportunity when everything around you is shifting. We've all been there. Welcome to Big Bold Moves Abundant Life. I'm your host, Lisa Marie Hintze, and today I want to introduce you to Gayle Williams, and her company's called Wellness Growth Marketing. I've known Gayle for many, many years, and recently we've been able to reconnect, and I'm excited to introduce her to all of you, our audience, so that you can hear some of her insights. She has a very unique way of making something that is taking her from where she used to be to where she is today with AI. And I think you're going to be very excited to hear how she's really renamed herself and made herself very relevant in this day and age. So, Gayle, let's go ahead and hear from you. And why don't you give everybody a quick introduction of yourself and what you're doing these days?
Thank you so much, Lisa Marie. This is great to be here, and I appreciate your invitation. I started my business, my digital marketing business, back when there was really not so much digital, but it was PR and marketing. In 2008, I put my shingle up as Vision PR and Marketing. I had big accounts, handled advertising and PR, as well as any sort of marketing, advertising campaigns, TV, print, old style marketing. And a lot has changed in these 18 years since. And I find myself now in 2026, and actually it's been changing very rapidly over the past 7, 8 years, and incredibly so in the past year or two, focusing down from the broad range to digital marketing, websites, SEO visibility, content marketing, video campaigns, and then providing just those services was no longer enough. Digital agencies across the country started spinning their wheels and trying to adapt to the new expectations of our clients, because you can hire us for a good professional fee, fair, but you can also spend $20 a month on a subscription to an AI tool that could do an awful lot for you for a lot less money. Of course, we might say it takes an expert to really get the most out of all of that. But I found that a lot of my clients were just saying, I just want to save more money. I had to take a cold, hard look at what I was doing and how I was providing services to my clients, for my clients, and what results I was actually getting for them. And my big, bold move was to change from doing things as I always had to focusing in on a very targeted niche, health and wellness practices. And I'm getting even more targeted within that area as well, and put together an integrated system with AI generated tools to incredibly transform the way they market and communicate with their prospective clients, or patients in this case, and really personalize the experience and maximize their results in conversions and engagement and getting new patients on a consistent basis. So it's a mouthful, but that is how I've turned my ship and pointed it in what I have faith is a better direction.
So, with all that you just said, because that is a whole bunch of information to put forth, I think it comes down to the one thing, and that is really, like you said at the very, very end, is to turn your ship. You have been presented with a great background of so many skills and things that you've done for your clients. And clearly, you have to go in a new direction. So there's tenacity in that, and then there's the ability to see something and not say, oh my goodness, but say, oh my goodness. And you've turned an opportunity from what might have not looked like an opportunity at first. So, knowing what your business is and knowing who you are and the character of who you are, I've learned very quickly that we want to work with those in our communities and throughout the United States and even throughout the world in many cases with people who are looking for something new and especially in this day and age. But before we go down that road and we hone in a little bit more onto what it is that you do and why you're unique, and again, I know you, and I know that you've got the ability to come into a situation and really learn to grow in a place where you might not be so comfortable because it's new and do amazing things. And that goes back to when we used to work together years ago. But my question is always when we start these conversations, my podcast is called Big Bold Moves Abundant Life. And my question is, how do you define abundance?
I actually define abundance almost in this very moment, in any given moment. Are my needs met? Am I still hungry? Am I being fed? Is there sun shining on me? Maybe not always, but am I protected? Do I have a roof over my head? Am I surrounded by a loving family and friends, a wonderful community? Do I have the means to adapt and learn and grow and do things for myself? All of those are part of abundance. Now,
I
on
love it.
another plane, I might be thinking, do I have enough money to pay my bills? Do I have enough money to go on this trip? And that's all part of our life, but it's not defining my happiness and my feelings of abundance. And I'm so happy I finally got to this stage in my life.
That's well said. Well said. Gail, you're probably speaking to a lot of people listening to us right now. This episode of Big Bold Moves Abundant Life is brought to you by Fearlessly Debt Free. If you have debt, mortgage debt, car loans, any type of debt, credit cards, college loans, you are interested in knowing how you can pay that debt off into a third to a half of the time faster, or you would like to save a third or a half of the amount of money that you're spending on interest and fees, you can click the link below, get on my calendar. We can have a discovery call. It's a free analysis to show you exactly how much you can save. Fearlessly debt free, where we want you to live an abundant life. So, my second question, kind of going from that question to the next, is think about this for a moment. When you slow down and you think about your life as a whole, what truly gets you out of bed in the morning? What lights your fire? What sets your spark?
That's a very good question. The first thing that popped into my mind, honestly, was a new day, something new. Because I always like a new challenge and new connections, new people, new ideas. I love that. And I do know, I'm not sure it's what is on my mind when I get out of bed, but I'm always looking for ways to create new connections. And that can be meeting someone and connecting within my own immediate life. But I love connecting people with ideas or people with resources or people to people when I see that something could happen from that.
Great answer to that question. Can you share a personal season or a story where you had to make a bold move yourself, not maybe for business growth or success, but because your heart knew it was the time to do it?
Lisa Marie, I have to say that one of the biggest, boldest moves that I made in my life was when I was about 35. I had established a wonderful career up in Cleveland, Ohio, where I had gone to school. And I'm actually a native Floridian, but I loved living up there. And I had a wonderful career in university administration, particularly with international education. And I had no interest in changing anything. except my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and I had already lost my father living a couple thousand miles away. And I really didn't want to do that again. And I wanted to be there for my mother. Not an easy thing to pick up and move when you have need to worry about your job and your house and things like that. But I find that the universe just handed me an opportunity. A friend suggested me for a job here in Sarasota, Florida. It's not Orlando, which is my hometown, but it was only an hour and a half, 2 hours away, which I thought was good. And I liked Sarasota. I interviewed for the job. I was offered the job on the spot. I moved down here. And just by taking those steps, I, of course, was able to be there with my mother in the last 3 years of her life, which is priceless. But it also opened up an entirely new career and world for me in ways that I just feel were magical. I was able to fulfill my dream of being an orchestral flutist because by moving down here, I was working for the orchestra here in town, but I had an opportunity to audition for a professional orchestra. I landed the principal flute position, and then within a few years also became a music critic for the Herald Tribune. It just made my life.
Wow, what a great story. And this is why I love doing what I do, because I had no idea that you were a flutist. I didn't know that at all. Amazing. And again, when we do these conversations, my heart is to make you shine, and you're clearly shining, but we want to know you. We want to know who you authentically are. And what a beautiful story. And I'm so thankful that you got a chance to be with your mom for those 3 years. And absolutely priceless is the word, because you can never get that time back. And that clearly, was a leap of faith. And the next question that I have is all about courage and stepping out of your comfort zone. But I don't even think I need to ask it, because it sounds to me like that was something that you did. You had courage, you left what you knew was comfortable, and boy, oh boy, did you make the right decision to come down. And I get to meet you and be in your space. It's all been wonderful. So we're going to move over to that beautiful story, and we're going to pop into what clearly has evolved in your career. And now you're working with clinics, and you're working with those in the self-help industry. And I know that you're working with those clinics to help them grow. And that's really what I understand from you is your first intention, is to give them the tools and all of the things that they need to grow their businesses based on an AI opportunity. And AI is only as strong as those that are putting the prompts in and making those companies work for them in the best and most efficient way. So my question is, what inspired you to help these wellness clinics to grow?
I have had a number of clients in the health and wellness area, and I've always enjoyed working with them because in the end, they're there because they want to help people heal. And I like that energy. They're not necessarily there as a pure profit motive. So I can easily pitch into that. I also happen to be someone who has spent a lot of time in hospitals and with medical professionals. And I have a particular interest in non-Western, non-traditional, or in some spaces it's called elective health services. And I get them. And I also get the mindset of the consumer, the potential patient. There are those who are true believers. They don't even think they're going to go take those Chinese herbal medicines, and they're great. And then there are those people who are just pondering it. I've heard it's okay. I've heard they're good. I'd like to check it out for myself. And they're the ones who need to be nurtured and brought along. And I know that there are tools that we can use to really make that possible without spending all your time on just that.
So can you give our audience an example, some sort of a protocol that you might go through with a potential client to get them from maybe where they're not effectively taking their leads and working with their leads to the point of a connection to becoming a client or a patient,
Yeah.
to where they could automate some of their services?
You would be surprised. There are a lot of wellness centers, practices that only have a website where you can call and make an appointment. If you are on their website in the evening or on a weekend, you can call and leave a message, and they'll get back to you when they're back in the office. Most people want so much more than that. They are expecting to be able to get on your website, get their questions answered right then, and to schedule an appointment. If they've decided to schedule an appointment, they want to schedule it right now so I can get it on my calendar because I'm way too busy to come back or remember to call you on Monday morning. Does that sound familiar?
They lose that opportunity very quickly.
There's a statistic, and it is if you are able to reply within 5 minutes and meet their needs, schedule an appointment, you are 7 times more likely to gain that new patient than if they have to, even if they leave a message and you call them back 10, 15 minutes later. Would you believe there are a lot of wellness clinics that just have a website with the phone number, and they expect potential patients to call and talk to a person and schedule an appointment? And that doesn't work if you're calling when the receptionist or whoever's there is on another call, unable to answer, or if it's after hours, before or after hours, or on the weekend. And sure, you can call, leave a message. You can even send an email requesting an appointment, and someone will get back to you maybe on Monday morning or maybe the next day. And by that time, most people have gone on to the next thing. If you can respond or provide an easy way for them to online schedule an appointment within 5 minutes, you are 7 times more likely to gain that new client. Otherwise, they're gone. So that's one of the key needs that I'm trying to solve, but many, many more.
So clearly, if you're giving somebody an opportunity to set, schedule, and get somebody to respond to them immediately, if it's midnight on a Friday night, someone's just scrolling and they come up against your name and they want to contact you, that's great. But we know in a world before all the AI, it would take 7 to 9 different touches before somebody would actually either respond, answer, or become a patient or a client. So with that statistic and with the knowledge that you're putting forth for all of these different industries, what a gift that is for them to be aware, number one, that it's possible, and number two, for it to be running in the background to grow their businesses. And my immediate thought when you started saying that was, oh my goodness, Gayle, you need to start calling people on a Saturday night at midnight or and leave a message and say, hey, I can help you to schedule me right this minute so that you would be able to market and show them what's possible. Gayle, what values drive your work with the wellness growth marketing and shapes your approach to client success?
In a weird way, efficiency is one of the top values because I have learned about myself. I get very anxious when I see time or money being wasted. And it doesn't have to be my time or money. So I'm looking at someone's entire system. How can we make this optimal in all ways? How can we make sure that your website is optimized for search? How can we make sure that the experience that your website visitor has is optimal, frictionless? Same thing for when people call and they don't get anyone. Could that be an AI voice conversation? Yes, it can. I look for all these ways to make efficient use of time and money. So that's one value. The second value is connection. I want there to be meaningful personal connection. And that may sound counterintuitive when you're talking about AI bots, but you are able to personalize communications far more effectively if you're able to automatically collect personal data and then have automation help you segment and respond in just the right ways. So that personal connection, heartfelt, is a value. And success. I want my clients to be successful. I want these practices to really grow, and also for those patients to be connected with healing therapies that will help them. That's my happy place.
Wonderful. And when we talk about all of those different values that you have, and we want to impress upon a potential client of yours, you might be looking at their big picture and you see that there's a lot of unpredictable results that they're working with right now. They're just flying by the seat of their pants because let's face it, they've got so many moving parts. Maybe they have employees, they have clients that come in who they want to give a great experience to. But how can you take what you know in your business and what you do for your marketing company and provide something where they're going from that unpredictable result to a very predictable growth model and showing them the way and how that could really benefit their business and growing? That's the ultimate idea, is to grow your business. What are some of the steps that you take?
I provide a system for their marketing and communications with potential and current patients. I provide that system and the specific tools. I look at all the moving parts and I help adapt their current way of operating to an integrated system, which includes various tools that optimize content, that publish content, that create visibility on the internet, and provide consistent and personalized ways of immediately communicating with their prospects. It even goes to communicating reminders about scheduled appointments and making sure that those are following the same tone and objectives, and nurturing them throughout their experience with the clinic or practice so that they're getting information and encouraging them to come back. Because again, these practices are providing elective medical services. And oftentimes we need to remember, I need to reschedule that appointment with the acupuncturist or the chiropractor or the IV drip clinic. I need to go in for my B12 shots. I'm going to forget those things. Honestly, it's a busy life. But if I have someone reminding me, hey, Gayle, it's time for your next B12 shot, I'll respond. And it's very personalized. That's how we provide a structure or an engine that maintains all these moving parts on its own without taking the wear and tear of the business owner or the practice owner.
Can you share a practical example of where you have worked with a clinic owner and they've embraced the change and saw them thrive with what you offered them?
There are two examples I have of people I've worked with and shared this approach with who have taken steps that have helped them. And those were creating video content with calls to action, posting them in optimized ways, and driving traffic to a website that provides a quick online scheduling option with an AI chatbot. And we've seen, even though that's not the whole system, we've seen growth. I've talked with other practices in other parts of the country, working with other marketing professionals, and they are seeing dramatic and consistent growth.
So when they are now working with you as a business professional, they can put pretty much everything on your shoulders and they can do what they do best, which I know a lot of practices and a lot of different businesses for that matter, they like to hold on to all of the different elements in their business. And what you do, Gail, is your profession. You do it the best. So it will let up that time for that professional to do what they do best. And that's in the wellness industry, of course, like you said, it is elective. And they're the ones that want to get to know their clients and get to know their patients more than anything else so that they can deliver the best experience possible while still being able to have you do all the things that you do and keeping them in connection, keeping them appreciated for being the patient that they are, and allowing them to get the services that they need so that they can come in for that B12 shot or they can come in for that different reason that they're coming to see that health professional. So let me ask you another question. What is one common misconception the wellness business owners have about marketing that you often help them overcome?
That's a good question. I think one of the biggest areas where I've seen consistently is the expectation. I had a conversation with a chiropractor not too long ago where he said, "Oh, that's just part of the business. People will come in, they'll get some services, and then they fade away, they go away. And I just have to live with that." And I pushed back on that because you can reach out to them and they would come back in. And when we really looked at that, he said, "You're right." I could maybe get them to come back in. And those are the easiest sales to make because they already know you. They like you, probably have been happy, and they just forgot.
I think it's really interesting because, like your business, like my business, like any business, any organization, you've got the attrition of people coming and people going. But statistically, in the marketing world, it's much easier to keep a patient, keep a client, keep a customer than it is to attract a new one. So I have to push back on that as well and say, I think of people who go to a nail tech and a hairdresser and never miss a 6 week appointment or a 4 week appointment. So I wonder why this would be thought of as any different. If it's
Yeah.
a service that you're getting that's provided to you, that you're seeing great results, why not expect that they'll continue to come back over and over and over again? And I'm sure that there are different things that you offer to your customers, to your clients, where you can recommend to them, well, boy, oh boy, we've got your customer, you've got your client, you've got your patient. Let me see what kind of rewards we can give you for the referral of one of your friends or people that you know in order to make your business grow.
Right. We can set up those type of referral programs. We can set up memberships. We can set up automated scheduling. In other words, Lisa Marie, if you walked out of the nail tech or you walked out of the chiropractor's office without having made your second appointment or your next appointment, we'll follow back up with you and say, time to make your next appointment. And this can be an automated process, but it certainly feels personal and human.
And that's just what we need when it comes to this AI. The AI is only as good as what we're prompting it to do and what we're telling it to do. And I think too that that's your profession. That's what makes you special. That's what makes you unique. Like we talked about a moment ago, you want to be able to say, yes, I know and I'm aware of it. It's out there, but here I am to walk you and coach you through having those tools available to you so that you can use them to the best ability possible to make your business grow. They don't have time to sit down and learn it, but you are in that field for that reason. Let's ask this question. Describe a time when you faced a setback in your business and you took the big, bold move that now has made a very big difference. Talk about your big, bold moves in business.
Well, in business, I'll tell you what I've been going through for the past 6 months is probably the biggest bold move I've done or I've made, and that is to face the facts that the market has totally changed and that what I was providing previously was not the hot ticket anymore. And I needed to really take a close look at where my areas of expertise were and who can I best serve? Where is the area that I can be an absolute subject matter expert? And then taking the steps to bring it all together with this new wellness growth marketing. And I am soaking up HIPAA regulations, all sorts of restrictions on how health and medical providers can talk about themselves in the marketplace. There's a lot of detail. There are regulations. There are rules to follow that I am very focused on so that my clients don't have to be worried. So I think really grabbing that whole thing by the reins and moving in this direction. It's a big, bold move, and it's been absolutely exhilarating. I'm loving it.
And again, you're taking the direction that it was going, and you're recognizing it, and you're going in the opposite direction with full bore ahead. And AI is shaping the future of your patient's experience, and the clinics will grow and they will have that ability to use AI. But the question is, in the next 3 to 5 years, where do you see this industry going, and how will you be part of that growth?
Well, I see it moving full force toward using AI tools to automate systems and processes so that healthcare and wellness professionals can focus on what they do best. That is just moving forward. I also see we human beings in the marketplace are getting very used to communicating with AI agents. We don't resist it as much as we did at first. There's still maybe some suspicion, but I think we are all really learning that it's almost like the old computer thing where it was garbage in, garbage out. If you train your AI tools with all the finesse and nuance that you know is needed, they can adapt to that and they continually learn. So this is only going to get better. And the people who don't grab those reins and really just get on board are going to fall by the wayside. They're already doing that. The people who are not responding to phone calls are losing clients right and left.
With the things that you're doing and those studies that you're doing, and in the wellness industry itself, having that knowledge, you're going to be able to provide that service so your clients don't need to. You'll be able to feel confident that they're going to put their foot forward and not worry about the ability to get in trouble if you say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. So why not have a professional to help you down that road? What advice would you give to somebody who feels really overwhelmed by the technology, and they see it, they understand it, but they also know that they need it to grow? They're very overwhelmed. What should they do?
First, take a deep breath and know that in almost everything in life, it's perfectly okay to turn to someone who's done it before, who knows the terrain, who has the expertise, and let them do it. It may cost more than you're expecting, or it might be perfectly reasonable, who knows, but it will cost something. You will need to budget for it, but it can give you 10 times the returns once everything is running as it should.
I know that even for what I do in my business with Fearlessly Debt Free, you do have to step out a little bit, and it may cost time, it may cost money, but in the long run, if you are not putting your head in the sand, and we can say that even for your industry too, and you become aware and you become knowledgeable, it can definitely open doors and put you in a place that you couldn't be if you didn't take that step and you didn't make those moves. So
Right.
that's good. If you could share one empowering message for our listeners who are all ready, they're listening, they're ready to take that big, bold move themselves in their life today, what would it be?
Have faith that you have what it takes to accomplish what you want to accomplish. and have faith that it will all work out. That's my mantra for myself. Take a deep breath, think as you move forward, and you're going to be okay.
Absolutely. And it's important to know that in life, we talk about mountaintops and we talk about valleys, right? And if you're not taking those mountaintop moments and you're not taking those valley moments, you can't appreciate the mountaintops and you can't appreciate the valleys. So, as we close here today, is there anything that you want to share with our audience to let them know a little bit more about how they can contact you? What systems do you have up and running in your own personal business so that they can experience that AI and some of the things that you can do today, right now, to take a step forward?
Okay. I would say visit my website, wellnessgrowthmarketing.com. You can go online, you can schedule time with me. You can also download our AI patient growth blueprint. And that will give you a really good overview of what we provide. The website has lots of information, and the chatbot will be there, and you can have a conversation with him. His name is Eric.
So, Gayle, I understand that you also have a chat bot and people can experience him. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about Eric?
Well, Eric knows everything about my business, and he is able to confirm the types of services and features that are part of the wellness growth engine. And he's able to very easily schedule your first appointment with me. And I love to have either a coffee chat or a discovery call, strategy call with you and talk about where your business is and where you want it to go. I look at the big picture, and then we can talk about the features of what we provide.
So, out of curiosity, is that a complimentary discovery call with your potential clients?
Absolutely. That's a complimentary call. And I'll even say nice things about you during it.
Okay, excellent. And then on the website too, there's lots of different tools that you can start with. You can see a little bit more about what your services are. I know that you are working with health professionals, of course, in your industry. And just do a quick rundown of the health professionals that you would come in contact with. I know that you have a nice list on your website.
Well, chiropractors, acupuncturists, IV clinics, functional doctors, alternative, holistic doctors in general, doctors of osteopathy, Chinese
So,
medical.
so pretty much anybody in the medical field will benefit from your services with
Med
your
spas, IV clinics, I think I
Okay.
mentioned.
Okay, awesome. So I think we're going to close our conversation here and just know that, Gayle, it's been a pleasure reconnecting with you. I'm so happy that we've had an opportunity to do that. And when you see a familiar face in the crowd, let's just say it's very heartwarming. And to see your smile brought me back to the days that we worked together. So I know that your business is going to do so much for so many people. It's my pleasure to spread the word and let them know about your services and to also encourage them to let the professionals do what the professionals do so that they can do what they do best. And I want to thank you. And I've got some thoughts in mind of people that you should talk to. So, with that being said, thank you, Gayle. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I know that this is going to be a time that everybody's going to benefit from and see value in our conversation.
Thank you so much.
What a great conversation with Gayle Williams. Her journey reminds us that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come when we're willing to pivot, learn something new, and trust that our experiences have prepared us for the next chapter. If you're a wellness professional looking to grow your practice and create a more connected experience with your patients, you can learn more about Gayle and her work at wellnessgrowthmarketing.com, where you can also explore her AI patient growth blueprint and schedule a conversation with her. To all of you listening, remember this: every bold step forward creates an opportunity for a much more abundant life. Thank you for joining me here on Big Bold Moves Abundant Life, and I will see you next time. We've all been there, feeling stuck in the grind, chasing that freedom we're aching to find. But what if the answer was clearer than you knew? With
numbers and strategy we'll walk you through. No more shame, no fear inside. We're turning pressure into power and fight. From paycheck to purpose, we rise above. This is your moment, it starts with self-love. Big, bold moves, abundant life. Fearlessly debt-free, we're doing it right. Cutting through the chaos, clarity shines. Wealth on the horizon, it's finally times. Strategy strong and direction clear. Let's build a future without the fear. You're not alone, we've got your back. Rewriting your story, getting life on track. Your money, your terms, your freedom to claim. Enjoy this journey, no more of the same. Big bold moves, abundant life. We're turning pressure into power and fight. From paycheck to purpose, we rise above. This is your moment, it starts with self-love. Big bold moves, abundant life. Fearlessly debt-free, we're doing it right. Cutting through the chaos, clarity shines. Wealth on the horizon, it's finally time. Strategy strong and direction clear. Let's build a future without the fear. You're not alone, we've got your back. Rewriting your story, getting life on track. Your money, your terms, your freedom to claim. Enjoy this journey, no more of the same. We're turning pressure into power and fight. From paycheck to purpose, we rise above. This is your moment, it starts with self-love. Big bold moves, abundant life. Fearlessly debt-free, step into the light. One decision away.